Okay, where are we now with this? How can I record this? How can I record this, guys? Let me have a look. Settings. Hear voice. No, don't need to hear my own voice. I have enough of the voices in my head. Okay, good evening. Thanks for joining us. Wow, okay, already quite a few people in. Nice that you could all turn up. And as you know, we're all going to chat about mental health. Bear with me, I am new to this, guys, so I am a little bit nervous. So if I start to waffle a little bit, just in your comments, just tell me to slow it down. So first of all, start off with today, how your days have been, everybody. How are you all out there in the world? Tell me where you're from. How your day's going. My day started pretty early. I play walking football as I'm over 50 now, and walking is about my limit now. So we had a walking football game against a local team, just a friendly, and it was a nice morning, sunny but pretty cold out here. It was 3 degrees, so we're all pretty chilly because we all turned up in our shorts. Game finished 2-2. Played in a good spirit, which is good. And again, going back to the mental health situation, I find that football and sport is really, really good for mental health. Anyone out there who suffers from any kind of mental health, no matter what it may be, I think sport is one of the biggest things we can all really help with our mental health. And can I just say, if you hear somebody with bad language in the corner in a high-pitched voice, that's my parrot Pico. He has got the filthiest mouth on him, and I got to admit, he's got some terrible language, and yes, I'm going to be honest, he does get it all from my missus. So, yeah, that's what I got to live with, guys. So Pico might from time to time use the odd swear word, the F word. He does so the C word now and again, and he does like to ask for beer. So, if you hear Pico asking for a beer, send me a beer, I'll pass it on to Pico. Okay, guys, the main reason why I want to do this is because I suffer from mental health. I have PTSD. But my main issue is something called borderline personality disorder, and that's BPD. A brief description about my life. Born in 71, April 71. I'm now 53, coming up 54 in April. Parents, when I was young, split up early. And then a little bit further along in my life, I suffered as a child. I'm not going to go into too much details of that right now, till I get to know you guys, and I'm sure we all probably feel the same. Growing up for me was difficult making friends or keeping friends. I was an excitable child at times, sometimes a bit too excitable. And then going on into later life, I was in the forces for a period of time, and after the forces, it was difficult holding down a job. It was from one job to another. Leave one on a Friday, start one on a Monday. Friendships were difficult, relationships were difficult. And then quite a number of years ago, I met my wife, who I'm with now, I absolutely love and adore. And throughout that time, big changes were happening in my life. I was really struggling. I was really, really struggling. So I went and got some counselling and some help. And that was the hardest thing for me, to actually admit that something was wrong with me. Because for the best part of 40 odd years of my life, I was convinced that I was this bad person. I was an evil person. Anyone who hung around with me was just going to, suffer and be around a bad person. But then I went and I started having some counselling with a lady who really helped me, and she realised that there was a little bit more to me than just the blues, as they call it. I couldn't just suck it up and forget about things. It was trauma from childhood, and obviously there was something a little bit deep rooted. And about the best part of 10-12 years ago, I was diagnosed with something called BPD, like I've mentioned, and that explained a hell of a lot. Now, when you look up BPD online, and when you look up, on Google, it explains a lot about the difficulty in holding down relationships, the difficulty in holding jobs, the difficulty in keeping friendships. I've lost count of the amount of times I've been looking forward to a function, maybe a night out or a party or just an afternoon in a pub, and I've given the excuse of I'm not feeling well, or my wife's not well, or one of the kids is not well, or I've been called out to work or something, because one minute you're up for it, and next minute you're not. The best way I can sort of explain my BPD is I can get up in the morning, I can be in a wonderful mood, ready to go to work. It's about 8:15, I'm out the shower, ready to go out for some breakfast or a coffee, and then something just trips me off. I can't find a shoe, or where's my iPad, or, I feel like I've lost €10 out my bag or something, and that just sets me off. And it just changes my whole mood. And then I upset the house, I upset my son, I upset my wife. Then I spend the next 20 minutes apologising for, maybe he's overreacting about something. Then 10 minutes later, I'm a totally different personality. I'm a little bit sad, I'm a little bit upset, and I don't feel like going to work. And I'm apologising again, and I'm asking for reassurance, and it is a constant thing. You can go through multiple personalities and emotions in a day. You only have to have a friend give you a short text. You send your mate a big long message, and it's, how you doing, mate? How's your day been? Where you going tomorrow? What you doing? And you get a thumbs up back. That is the worst thing. And you really take that the wrong way. That's like, oh my God, he's fallen out with me, and it really puts you in a hole. And it's not. It's just, that's borderline personality. Every little emotion, it's like a deep cut, when really it's not. It's just somebody who might be busy at the time. He's feeding his kids, or he's feeding the dogs, or he's in the checkout of the supermarket. So rather than ignore your message, he'll send you a little thumbs up back. Tammy, thank you. That's you too. It's difficult. It's difficult. So you react to the slightest of things you react to, and you really overanalyze it. Again, relationships. I can start an argument with my wife in 5 seconds, and she's done nothing wrong. I'll have a go at, where's my t-shirt? It's in the wash. Why is it in the wash? It's been there 3 days. You've got other t-shirts. Yeah, but I wanted that one because I've woken up that morning in my head, I'm putting on a black pair of shorts with this blue t-shirt or something like that. And in my head, that's it. And because I can't put this blue t-shirt on, I feel like my whole day's just gone tits up. And it does affect you like that. It really does. And the main thing for me as well is the effect it has on my wife and my son. They've seen me in some pretty angry states. And I can sit here with my hand on my heart, and I've never ever been physically abusive with my wife or my son. But many times, emotionally and verbally abusive, yes, but, it isn't me. And that's what we've all got to accept. It isn't you, the person. Somewhere inside of me is a really nice guy, and I know that. But that nice guy isn't always the one that comes out. Again, I have quite a lot of people, because I'm a big guy. I'm just short of 6'5". I'm about 17.5 stone. I go to the gym, I work out, and I'm a pretty imposing guy. I've got quite a deep voice. I'm a manly man. I've got a beard. I've got a bald head, so I look like quite a big bloke. And sometimes I can be talking to women, and then I'll hear feedback from them saying things like, "He come across as quite aggressive. He comes across as quite imposing." And that terrifies me sometimes, because that is not the person I'm trying to be. So a lot of the time with mental health, the person you're trying to be isn't the one that people are seeing. And that is the difficult thing to say. A lot of people judge me incorrectly. And do I know if it's caused by experiences, Lorraine? Yes, I do. It's been caused initially from experiences from when I was a child. Like I said, I don't want to go into that too much, but I did suffer as a child. And many years later, when I think when them emotions started coming through, obviously having kids of my own, as you get a bit older and you start seeing your own children, and you start seeing traits of your parents in yourself, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Not abuse or anything like that, but you sort of start seeing the same traits that you experienced as a child, and you realise that you don't want to put your children through that. You don't want to be a domineering parent. You don't want to be that screaming, shouting parent. You want to be an easygoing parent. So you realise that there's something not right, and you try and get yourself sorted. And that's where my asking for help came from. And one thing that led up to the asking for help was I spent the best part of 2.5 months just sitting in a bedroom watching TV, didn't go to work. Sometimes I wasn't showering for weeks. I was having a quick wash, quick brush of the teeth, and literally just sitting in a room, and I didn't want to go out and see the world. I don't know what pulled me out of that, but that was a time when I was actually taking medication. I tried all kinds of medication, and to be honest, it absolutely screwed me up. Faith, even a certain tone of voice triggers that for me as well. I get that. And like I say, I'm a big guy. So, to some women who don't know me, me speaking to them, it might come across as abrupt. I'm actually quite to the point. I don't use 10 words if I can use 3. But then there's other times I'll use 40 words when 2 will do it, and I'll over elaborate. But I get that. I get that tone of voice for some women, and even for some men can be quite difficult, especially from an imposing guy my size as well. So going back to the medication thing, that really screwed me up. So I knew I needed to get off the medication. I'd done a lot of research online regarding medication, and I was reading a lot of bad stories about people who were taking medication and what it was doing to them. They're almost zombied out, and I think that was me that period in the bedroom. So I slowly came off the medication myself. Not initially, I'd whittle it down to 1 every 2 days, then 1 every 3 days, then 1 every 4 days. And I did go through a bit of hell, but I am much better for it. I'd rather suffer without the medication, my BPD, than with it, because it wasn't doing anything for me. It wasn't doing anything for me at all. Have you heard of Andy's Man Club in the UK? They meet at my local football club, Lisa Jane. Whereabouts is that, Lisa? Obviously, I'm not sure if you're aware. I don't think I've told you all, actually. I actually live out here in Spain. So it's sort of 7:10 here in Spain. We've lived here for quite some time. But do let me know where that is, because if they're on Facebook, I certainly will follow them, and it's nice to see these kind of things. Thank you, Lorraine. It does take a strong man to seek help. Even stronger want to talk about it. Well, I'll be honest, this is something I've wanted to talk about for a long time. And I've been on TikTok now for about a year or so, and really only just started using it. I've been on Facebook, like most of us, for the best part of 15 years. Instagram for 3 or 4 years. And I've seen all these people doing these videos, and I've always said, that's what I want to do. I want to get my story out there. And tonight I'm finally doing that. So yeah, thank you for that. It does take a strong man to ask for help. But it's not just about me, I want you guys to tell me, if anyone out there suffering from mental health, what is it you suffer from? What is your day-to-day life like? And how does it affect your partner? How does it affect your wife, your husband, even in your children as well? I mean, you've always got to remember the children in this. Children are so impressionable, if they see mum or dad breaking down and crying, sitting in bedrooms for weeks after weeks, just losing their shit for no reason whatsoever. It's easier to explain that to an adult, I've got a mental health illness, but you try explain that to a little child, it's nigh and impossible. It is nigh and impossible to explain that to a child until they get a little bit older. So going back to what somebody said earlier, was there a cause for it? BPD is usually, is usually something that stems from childhood trauma. Yes, it does. So yeah, I've got other people to thank for that, but I do have to say that talking about it does help. And the worst thing anybody can say to you is just pull yourself together. Tomorrow's another day. You'll be all right. Just chill out for a little bit. You can't just chill out. You can't just wake up the next day and it's all gone. And you can't just suck it up. It doesn't work like that. Lisa Jane, I work from Homestart in St Helens. They also have a new group called Dad Matters on Facebook. If you can send me that in a message, Lisa, please, I'd like to have a look at that page. Definitely would, yeah, definitely. So again, guys, going back to the BPD, trying to explain it is almost trying to imagine the bipolar. People have sort of, years ago they called it schizophrenia, two personalities, where the bipolar, you can be manic for many days and weeks, and when you're manic, you're the life and soul of the party. You're out there. You're spending money erratically. You're drinking a lot. Maybe taking drugs. You're promiscuous, and this can go on for weeks and weeks and weeks and months. And then you have the depression, where you can be depressed for weeks and weeks and months, and that sort of bipolar. Whereas borderline personality, you go through all them different emotions, sometimes 6, 7, 8, 20 times in a day. You can be up, down, in the middle, just there, back down there. You can be happy, crying, apologetic, woeful, angry, abusive, all over the space of an hour. That's how it is for me. Obviously, I know everybody's illness is completely different. But that's the best way for me to explain borderline personality. So, going back to the effect it has on partners, Lisa, do you feel there's much support for men in Spain for mental health? Lisa, there's absolutely none. There is absolutely none, and that is something that I hold dear to my heart. I mean, I have actually, in fact, a couple of years ago, I started a Facebook group out here and tried to get men involved, and it literally just fell flat on its arse. So I deleted the group. I was sort of wasting my time. I was, say again?
Very little, very little.
So I was basically wasting my time. Sorry about that. I was wasting my time. And yet I can tell you now through friends here and through people coming in. I have a business out here, and I have a lot of customers come in, and we chat to them. This is my little girl, Aura. We found her in the street, by the way. As you see, she's got one eye. She was about 2.5 weeks old, and she was like this little rat in front of the car. And we stopped and picked her up, and we took her to the vets and got her fixed. She had a broken leg. We've had her about 2.5 years now, and she's a little witch, but I'm going to chase her. Go on, away you go. So that's our little cat, Aura. Where was I? So yeah, we had the Facebook group, and it literally fell flat on its arse. Thank you, Lorraine. She's a little beauty, yeah. Like I say, she was 2.5 weeks old. This little rat we thought ran in front of the car, and we stopped, and it was this little tiny kitten. It was about 48 degrees, and her eyes were stuck together, and she was dragging her leg behind her. And we're not cat people, we had dogs. I was never a cat person. And we took her to the vets on the Sunday. Long story short, we paid for her to get better, and we took her home on the Friday, and we now have 4 of the little blighters. So yeah, we do love cats. They are quite amazing creatures. So going back to the Facebook page, I created this Facebook page. In fact, I can't even remember what I called it now. It was a good 3-4 years ago, and it literally fell flat on its arse. There was no response whatsoever. Yet I do know, speaking to men out here, just speaking face to face, customers come into my shop and they're quite open. They tell me that they have issues. I mean, I know of one guy who cries often, and he tells me that. And yet these people didn't join the Facebook group. They didn't want to, and I don't know the reasons why, but I think a lot of it, again, is stigma. I think a lot of men, like somebody said on here earlier, it's very difficult for men to openly admit that they're struggling, for men to admit that sometimes they cry, sometimes they feel so low that they want to end it, I've been there, I have been there quite a few times in my life, not so much recently because life is good and I've got a lot to be thankful for. And again, going back, I've got a wonderful wife and I've got a lovely son, and we have a really, really good life out here in Spain. The weather's fantastic. We have a business. We're not wealthy, but we always have food on the table. We always have a warm room, and we're always able to go and have a nice walk along the beach and things like that. So we are blessed. But still, no matter what you've got, as much as you've got, as little as you've got, it doesn't stop mental health affecting you. When people say things to me like, well, what have you got to be sad about? What have you got to be depressed about? You work for yourself. You can pick and choose when you go to work. If you don't want to go to work, you don't go to work. And life doesn't work like that. It really doesn't work like that. And it's difficult. It's difficult, especially again when you've got men saying things like that as well. Jenna Latham, yes, Jenna, totally agree. Yeah, it is. It is. You're right, Lisa. It's not seen as masculine, these things, but you see so many stories that don't end well. You're absolutely right. Yes, you are right. And I have had friends who've tragically taken their life. I have had that happen, and it does make you question what it takes to do that. And I can tell you with certainty, I've been to that point where I've wanted to do it, but never actually done it. Obviously, I'm here, so you can't comprehend, even as somebody who gets into those lows of depression as I get myself, you can't comprehend what it takes for somebody to get to that point. And usually it could have all been sorted with just reaching out. Doesn't matter who it is, whether it be a friend or a family member, but it's not masculine to go and end your life. What is masculine is to get a grip of yourself and say to yourself, I need help, and go and ask for that help. In my hometown, a fella organised a walk for men one night a week. It started with 4, now it's 50. That's fantastic. And do you know what? I love the sound of that. I really, Tammy, I really like that. That's a great idea. Do you know what? That is a really fair play. Started with 4, now it's got 15. And you know what? Walking, it's something I don't do enough of, but walking is one of the best ways to just get some air into the lungs and just to clear the mind and just walk and think. It is, and I don't do it enough, and it's one of them things that I should do. Your partner took It's 20 years ago this year. That's like, wow. Sheila, I am so sorry to hear that. That is tragic. Wow. I don't know what to say to that, Sheila. That is just horrific. And again, Sheila, if you don't mind me asking, did he ever ask for any help? Did he ever reach out? I'd like you to message me on that. I'd like to talk to you more about that, Sheila. Actually, that is quite a tragic story. Jenna Latham, my daughter was self-harming. I then found out why, and it was her dad. And it's yep. Wow. Okay, that is tragic. They open up to each other, and a couple of men don't have anyone. This is company for them. Well, I agree with that. But men, again, we're going back to men. We don't speak enough. And again, I've been wanting to do this for quite a few years, and it's only because of recent events. I've been helping a family, as most of you know, you've been following me on here. I've been helping a family search for their son, tragically John George, and he was found last week. And through doing that, it's given me the braveness. I think bravery is probably the wrong word. It's given me the balls. I've lost them nerves now. Now I've actually been on the camera quite a few times and made videos, and I did a live the other night with a lady called Lisa, and it went really well. It's gave me the balls, and it's gave me the nerves now to get on here and do this and do something that means so much to me. I'm so passionate about mental health, and I'm also so passionate about the homeless as well. The homeless problem we've got all around the world, but in the UK. And that's something I will talk about a little bit later on, actually, because I have got something planned in the future what I'd like to do with the homeless. So, Curtis in recovery. How are you doing, Curtis? Now, anyway, when you say you're in recovery, if you want to message, if you don't want to obviously put it on here, just send me a message. I'd love to hear from you, Curtis. Listen, we're always here, Curtis, and I'm here for anybody. Listen, I haven't got the answers. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a shrink. Some days I'll come on here and you'll be like, wow, he seems a little bit quiet, or he's talking too much, or he's a little bit erratic. That's the BPD. You're very rarely the same from 1 hour to the next, really. But it is difficult. It is difficult to live with any kind of mental illness, and there's so many. Like I say, I mean, one of the ones that I started suffering with a couple of years ago, and it seems to have passed. I used to get anxious. I used to get anxious a lot. Once I got this diagnosis, I used to get anxious thinking people were going to notice it. People were going to notice it. But then really deep down, people have been noticing it all my life. That's why friendships just went to the wall. I could have a best friend. We'd go out all the time, and then all of a sudden, nothing. He wouldn't reply to me, and it was because I was an odd character when I was young. It was very difficult to be friends with me, and I get it. And trying to look from the outside, it would be very difficult trying to be my friend. Same as I say to my wife, and I make jokes of it sometimes, and I say to her, how the hell do you live with me? I say to her, if I lived with me, I'd have killed me by now. And we sort of laugh about it, but I genuinely mean that. It is so hard to live with somebody with mental health issues, day to day as well. I mean, some mental health issues aren't always at the surface all the time. They aren't always prominent, and they aren't controlling your life. They tend to hit you when you're not expecting it. You can be running through your life smoothly, everything's going well, and then wallop, it affects people. It could be anxiety, it could be depression, many different things. And would you help with ADHD as mental health? My son's on meds but isn't very social, he's 18. Lisa, I have a son like that myself, who lives at home, and without going into too much detail, he hit a very, very, very low point in his life this year. Just because, he's not antisocial, but he's not one of these streetwise kids. He's an Xboxer gamer. He likes to spend time at home with me and his mum, and he's a lovely kid, very loving, lovely lad. But he's not one of these kids who goes out drinking. He's 19 now. He's not a boozer. He's not the kind of kid who goes out nightclub, and he's not one of the cool kids and all that kind of thing. And he struggles himself in social situations. So I get that. I do get that. And he does suffer from time to time with depression. Lisa Jane, I'm a single parent. It's so hard to get him to speak to me. He loves Xbox but only has one friend. Lisa, how old did you say your son was? Sorry, he's 18. Right, my son's 19. You need to send me his gamer tag, and I'll get my son to add him on there. Let's get them chatting. Let's get your son another friend, eh? My son's on his Xbox all the time. He speaks with people all around the world, and he's got some great friends on there. It's been a great comfort to him, actually, Xbox. So get your son or yourself on behalf of your son to send me his gamer tag, and I'll pass that on to my son. And let's see if we can get them chatting. Yeah, let's see if we can get your son some company, although be it online. For kids with social anxiety, online relationships are the way forward. He's a big football fan. Well, my son Jack is totally anti-football, but he'll give it a go. You know, he'll talk about it. But if you ask him who Lionel Messi plays for, he'll probably say Accrington Stanley. That's about his knowledge of football. But yeah, he's a lovely kid, my boy. So get me that gamer tag sent over, and we'll get them both chatting. That'd be really nice. It'd be lovely to help. Hardest topic to ever talk about, Marcus. It is, Marcus. Yeah, it is, and I'm finding this difficult now tonight, without going into too much detail, because I don't want to make this tonight about too deep and too upsetting for some people. I'd rather you guys over the coming weeks get to know me, and then we can maybe get a little bit deeper into what happened to me as a child and things that have happened to me throughout my life, and maybe some of you guys might want to open up as well. But tonight, we got our matches together. It's our thing. Otherwise, she's in his bedroom. Who's your team, by the way, Lisa? Please don't say Liverpool, or we're going to fall out. What was I saying there? So, we will in the weeks coming. We'll go a little bit deeper. But tonight, I didn't want to go too deep. I wanted to just sort of introduce myself. The real me, not the guy you've been seeing on the video searching for John George, not the guy who's been making videos and chatting about somebody else. I wanted to come on and talk about myself, my mental health. Wigan Athletic, we can deal with that. We can deal with that. I remember when they beat Arsenal in was it the FA Cup? Tell me if it was FA Cup, League Cup. I think it was FA Cup. Was it Lua scored a winning goal? Tell me if I'm right. Tell me if I'm wrong. Oh, we must have gone back 12, 13 years, I think. But yeah, was it Arsenal? Was it Man City? I think it was Man City they beat, didn't they? Oh, Arsenal, remind me. But yeah, I remember Wigan won one of the cups. So yeah, we I want you to just get to know me, the person. Me, Jay, the 53-year-old guy, happy-go-lucky, and just loves his family. So that's what tonight is about. And then what I'm going to do is, Man City. What did I say, 12, 13 years ago? I was bang on 12 years ago. Man City FA Cup, yeah. Yeah, so yeah, well, it was a good game, actually. Right at the end, if I remember rightly. So I remember him running away and doing that cartwheel thing he used to do. Good evening, Karen. How are you? Cheers, Jay. Thank you. So yeah, tonight's just about introducing me, and over the next couple of weeks and couple of months, and as long as you guys need me, and I'm going to be honest with you, I'm going to need you guys as well, because there's going to be days when coming on here, it'll be nice for me just to sit and see all you people, and for us to be able to chat. So that'll be good. So you can just get to know me. This is just me. I'm Jay. I'm 53. I grew up in the north of England. Had a bit of a tough childhood, and we'll go into that a little bit later. Spent time in the forces. Then after that, spent a few years driving articulated trucks, which was lovely. Driving trucks is fantastic. It's a hell of a buzz. It is. But all that time on your own was a difficult time. But looking back on that, all that time on my own was the time when my illness sort of came to the surface and led to me sort of flipping out and spending all them weeks in my bedroom, and and then going for that help. Finally put my hand up and just saying, look, I can't do this on my own. So all I want to say is, if there's anybody on here watching me now, man, woman, child, if you've got problems, please don't ever let it get to the stage where you take matters into your own hands. You've got to tell somebody. No, thank you, Jay. Really looking forward to hearing you speak on this very relevant subject again. Thank you, Karen. Yeah, that's nice to hear. Like I say, I'm no expert on this. I'm only going from my own experiences, and the hardest thing for me is the effect it has on my wife, and I am going to get into that more over the sort of the coming weeks. I probably won't do another live on this now until what we're on now. We're on Wednesday now. Probably maybe Saturday, Sunday this week, believe it or not. And I'm actually doing some stand up for charity, so I'm doing a 10-minute set on Saturday night, and I'm doing the same 10-minute set on a Sunday night for a different audience. So I'm busy this weekend, Saturday, Sunday. I've done stand up once before, and it went really well. And I kept it a little bit. What's the word, clean? And I'm not blue, I'm not insultive, and I certainly don't do race and sexism and all that, but I do like to tell jokes that are proper jokes. So I can get away with it more this time because the audience is going to be a little bit better. So I'm going to be busy Saturday, Sunday. Possibly Monday I'll probably do another live. I'll probably look at doing lives maybe Mondays, Thursdays every week or something like that, and then keep my weekends to myself. But I just think the more people we can get involved in my channel, and when I'm coming on live, I think eventually we're going to make some difference, because I can guarantee there's going to be some people. It's great to hear you, and I look forward to hearing you again, Curtis, in recovery. Curtis, thank you very much. Like I say, give me a message. I'm always here for you, Curtis. You know, I can't always proclaim to solve all of your problems, but I can certainly give you a good ear, and I can certainly speak to you if you're ever in a situation where you need someone to talk to. You know, everybody should have someone to talk to, whether it's a stranger. Going back to, like I say, I went for counselling. It was a total stranger. I often feel it's easier speaking to somebody who's a total stranger, to be honest. I think it's a lot easier, and we're here for you too. Tammy, thank you very much, and that's nice to hear. That is really nice to hear. You're one incredible human, mate. Well done. Thank you very much. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not an incredible human being. I'm just an average bloke, you know, living an average life, to be honest. That's all I'm doing. But what I'm sick of seeing and what I'm sick of hearing is far too many people are taking their own lives, mainly men. I mean, you look at the statistic. I did have them written down, actually, and for some reason I've left them in the office because I just want to have them with me tonight just to read them out. But I will next time. But the statistics for the suicide rate in men, is the percentage rate is so much higher than women. And I don't think that's because men suffer more than women. I think that's because, like we've been saying, men won't talk. It's like they can't talk. Yeah, it is. It is, LJ. It is. It's so worrying. And again, I think it's because men won't talk. You know, they've got this stigma where as a man, if you go and tell somebody that you're struggling with life and you're feeling suicidal or you can't cope, that people are going to judge you as being less of a man. Bollocks. Absolute bollocks. You know, any man who comes to me and tells me he's struggling and needs help, the first thing I want to do is I want to put my arms around him and give him a hug, and I want to say, you know what, thank you for making that first statement. That's it. Now you've made the move. Now from here we can get you the help. You know, you're right, Stephen Duggan. Talking to a stranger for me helps a lot. It does, Stephen, because that person doesn't know you. They don't know your past. They don't know your family or anything. You can literally just talk to them because you might not ever see them again anywhere. But you know, but going back to somebody, if anyone wants to come and tell me that they're struggling, again, the first thing I want to do is throw my arms around the guy or woman. You know, I know we live in a day and age where you can't just go throwing your arms around people. But you know what I mean by that. You know, especially a guy, I'll throw my arms around the guy, tell him well done, and you've made that first step. And that's all it is. It's that first step. And I think that's why so many men are taking their lives, because they've not taken that initial step of just speaking out and saying to somebody that I'm struggling, life's too hard and I need some help. And we all need help. I mean, even if you're not suffering from mental health, life gets you down. Life gets you sometimes, and it always seems to kick you in the balls when everything's, you know, when you're down there. Tammy, a guy who took his own life last week, and he was life and soul of the party. Yep, but again, Tammy, that life and soul of the party, that's a front. I'm life and soul of the party, but I sit at a party, and although I'm doing this and I'm dancing away and my eyes are looking happy, inside I'm thinking, is he looking at me? Is he talking about me? That is the genuine thing. What you see on the outside of people is very, very rarely what's going on the inside. So, you know, don't judge people because they seem to be life and soul of the party, that inside they're like, there's not a party going on in the head. I can guarantee that. And the fact that you said he took his life, I mean, that is tragic. That is tragic. I mean, that guy should still be here to do some more partying, but partying with a clean mind. And all it needed for him to do was, yeah, Martin, 100%, yeah. All that guy needed to do was just reach out and just say to somebody, I need some help. Seriously, I need some help. Because that's all it is. 4 words, I need some help. And that's it. You know, not enough men are saying I need some help. And we should. And I did, and thankfully, I wouldn't say I'm a success story. Certainly not, because I'm still a crazy son of a bitch sometimes. I still have my moments, but they're a lot fewer and far between, because sometimes I'm at work and I'll have to go and lock the door, and I'll say to my wife, comedians are known to be most depressed. Yeah, you're right, Lorraine, you're right. And somebody told me that the other day. They said to me, like, I'm getting into this comedy. I love to make people laugh, you see. And it is a mask. Again, it goes back to the party animal thing. When you're making people laugh, and you can laugh, you can be the comedian on the outside and the demons on the inside. You can mask them for a bit while you're making people laugh. And I do get that. LJ, gosh, I can so relate to so much of this, to be honest. Thank you. So what I was saying there is it needs somebody to just say, I need some help. I need some help. But sometimes, like I say, sometimes I'm at work with my wife, and I'll feel it come over me. 1 minute I'm serving a customer, I'll be taking some money, giving some change, blah blah blah. They go out the door, and I just get up and I lock the door, and I just come to my wife and say, "Can I have a hug? Can I have a hug, please?" She says, "Why?" I say, "I'm just feeling down," and I'll cry, and she'll just hold me. She won't say anything. She'll hold me, and she'll say to me, "Okay now?" I'll go, "Yep." I just go wash my face. We open the door, and we carry on again. And then 10 minutes later, I'm laughing and joking with the customer, and I'm the life and soul of the party on the outside. Yet they don't know 10 minutes earlier, I've been sat at my desk having a hug off my wife because I'm really, really struggling. And I'm not ashamed to say that. I'm actually very proud to be able to sit here and say to you, as a almost 6'5" man, 17 and a half stone, that I cry and I get upset and I actually ask my wife for help. Because if I don't and I hold it in, then I go into these fits of rages. I mean, we had a dog cage about a year or so ago, and I just kicked the dog cage. I literally just kicked don't get me wrong, the dog wasn't in it, but I kicked this dog cage and it went flying down the hallway, took a chunk of plaster out of the wall, and then I just sat down and cried. Don't know where it come from, but it did. And all I needed to do the day before when I felt this urge of sadness come on was to just say to my wife, I'm feeling a bit low, I need a hug. And sometimes a hug doesn't solve it, but damn, it helps. It helps because you've told somebody how you're feeling. So at least then if that fit of rage comes out or the tears come out, I've told her it's coming. She's aware of it. And sometimes I tell her, and then for the next 12 hours, every 15 minutes, she'll say, you all right? You all right? And I end up saying, for God's sake, I'm all right. I was all right 10 minutes ago, I'm all right now. And she'll come in, she'll still say, are you all right? Are you all right? Yeah, I'm all right. So remember what I said, them 4 words, I need some help. You've just got to say them 4 words, I need some help. And to anybody, to me, to you guys on there, Tammy, sending big hugs, thank you very much, sending them back. We all need that help, but we got to ask for it. So the lady earlier, I think it was you, Tammy, said your friend took his life. Isn't that so tragic? Tragic the fact that he's taken his life, but I mean, I don't know if he did, but tragic if he didn't ask for that help, because if he'd have just said them 4 words, I need some help, he could be here now. He could still be here. He could be on here now. We could be chatting to him. We could be relating to what I'm saying. And, we could be making a difference for him. So, my heart goes out to him and my heart goes out to you and any of his family, because nobody should be ending their own life. I mean, that is just the ultimate thing, isn't it? A problem shared is a problem halved. Danielle, Marie, yes, it is. But again, it comes back to, you've got to share that problem. We've got to share that problem. If you don't share that problem, the problem's never going to be solved, or never going to be halved, or like you say, or it's never going to be, taken serious. There's far too many people, scream mental health, but then do nothing about it. And I'm not saying they don't have mental health. What I'm saying is, if you're brave enough and proud enough to shout like you feel like there's something not right, you've done it. You've said it. So now you've said it, that's the easy part. Now go and get the help that you need. Go and speak to somebody, speak to a stranger. And again, anyone can always message me on here. I'm happy for anyone to message me on here. I'd love for people to do that. And like I say, if I could make a difference or help just one person, then that'll make my day. If I went to bed one night and somebody had messaged me to say, I'm struggling, I need some help, and me and that person could have a talk, and then the next morning they spoke to me again and they're still here. God, what a feeling that would be, because I know I've been in situations when I was younger where I felt that way. And like I say, eventually put my hands up and said, I need some help. And I did, and it was my wife, and I said to her, I need some help. And she said, we'll get you the help. And it was just a local doctor's surgery. I went and I had counselling. And at the time, I think you're only supposed to have the counselling, I think 6 to 8 sessions or something. And again, because of my borderline personality, I'd go for 2 weeks, then I'd make an excuse for 2 weeks, then I'd go. And I eventually got through these sessions, and then they sent me to a proper psychologist. I was only with a psychologist 20 minutes, and he said to me, I can diagnose you pretty much straight away, you've got something what we call borderline personality disorder. Now at the time, Jay, can I just say, an amazing guy, thank you for listening to me when I private message. Thank you, Carrie. Yeah, I do remember you, Carrie, yes, and I'm always here to listen. Stacey, you got BPD. I think you told me that the other night. Again, you know where I am. Message. Let's talk about it. So the doctor's surgery sent me to a proper psychologist, and like I said, they give you this diagnosis, borderline personality. It was about, I think when they gave me the diagnosis, it was about 2012. So yeah, it's about 12, 13 years ago. And I remember thinking, borderline, oh, well, that doesn't mean you're quite there then. I mean, if someone said you've got multiple personality disorder, you think, oh my God, that's pretty bad. But when they say it's borderline, that's like saying, you know, borderline is just, you're just on the edge, you're not quite, but that wasn't what it meant when I read up on it. And then when I read up the cause of it, you know, childhood trauma, things that have happened throughout your life, then a lot of things started to ring true. But then I went through this period of wanting to, and I said to my wife, I said, not that any of my ex sort of girlfriends or friends or bosses or anything like would probably want to hear from me, but I just I'd like to contact them and explain a few things, why I was this way or why I was that way. I went through that period wanting to contact everything through my life, just to say to them, listen, this is why I acted this way, this is why we're not friends, and this is why I'm not your boyfriend no more, this is why I left my job or whatever. But then I thought to myself, no, I don't need to explain it. That's in the past. I can't change the past, and we all know you can't change the past. But what I did know was that now, moving forward in my life, I don't have to sit there beating myself up thinking I'm this evil kind of person. I'm this person who's no good, who hurts people. Tammy, how do you get diagnosed? First you've got to go, and you're going to have to go and see somebody to talk to and speak to them, but you've got to be brutally honest. I mean, you've got to be brutally honest. I've told things to my psychologist that I've never even disclosed to my wife, and that's not because me and my wife have secrets. That's just because feelings that I wouldn't want to come out with and tell my wife, because at the time they were quite scary, and I didn't want my wife to see me in that way. And to be honest, she didn't really need to know. They were just things between me and my psychologist to help them get a better gauge of me as a person and what went on up there. I had therapy, went to see a psychiatrist, and I'm on 6 months of DBT. Okay. So I've heard a lot about this DBT, but I haven't really looked into it a lot. But I'm not going to comment on medication and things like that. But it didn't work for me. It really, if she was the term, it fucked me up. It really did big time. It just made me so much worse. My depressions were getting worse, and my manic periods were just off the scale. And I think lockdown has had an effect on a lot of people. I had my daughter in lockdown, and I think lockdown. I mean, again, I've got friends out here, and one guy lucky to be alive due to sepsis. Wow. I had one guy said lockdown really made him realise that he didn't like his own company. And when he first said that, because this guy was quite out there, we sort of laughed, and he went, no, I've realised that I've got some issues, and it really, really affected him. And yeah, it did affect him. Perennial diagnosed me well, noticed it, and got me sessions therapy. Do I struggle socially? Yes and no. I've got one really, really, really good friend in the world. You know, he won't be watching on here because I don't think he has TikTok. His name's Stu, and he's just a top guy. I mean, I've sat with him and told him that I have issues, and he's like, "Hey, don't we all?" And he's the sort of guy. If my roof was leaking tonight and the water was pissing through all over my dogs and my cats, I'd have to pick the phone up to him, and he'd be the one up on that ladder with a hammer and nails, plugging a hole, because he's that type of guy. You know, he's a good guy. And when I'm around him, when there's just me and him, we go out for a beer and a drink, and we get absolutely rat-assed. And we have a good time. There's never a crossword. There's always a hug at the end of the night, and I love you, and we go home. So yeah, I don't struggle when I'm around him. What I do struggle with is people who I don't really know. I always have this little voice in my head saying to me, do they like me? How am I coming across to them? Am I being aggressive? Am I acting calm? Am I a bit twitchy? Am I a bit fidgety? Am I coming across a bit depressed? I never know what person they're seeing. The person that I'm trying to portray is not always the person that they see. So yes, in them situations, I do struggle socially, and even now, at 53-year-old, I lose friends. Going back to my best friend here, Stuart. Before this Stuart moved to Spain, I had another friend called Stuart, and he lived just near my business, and he sadly passed away 3 years ago in December, and that really, really shook me, because when I moved to Spain, all I wanted to do was find that one friend who would sort of get me, understand me, and when we go to the gym on a morning, you know, we'd be banging away on the weights, and sometimes I'd be quiet, but he understood, and some mornings I'd get in the car and he'd say, how are you today, Mr. Hurst? And I'd say, shut your mouth, just get me to the gym. And we'd laugh, we'd get to the gym, not a lot was spoken, we'd do our session, we'd go home, shower and go to work. Then the next day we'd get in the car and I'd be bubbly and laughing and joking. And he was an absolutely top guy, and sadly, I lost him just over 3 years ago, and that really, really, really affected me again. The PTSD spiked, the BPD spiked, you know, the depression started kicking in, and the sorrow, and then you feel cheated, you feel lost, because you're like, I found this guy, now he's been taken away. So, you know, that was a tragedy. That was a real tragedy. I mean, he was only 56-year-old. We went to the gym regularly. He ate well. He lived a good lifestyle, and he was just walking along the beach and had multiple heart attacks, and just he was gone. You know, 1 minute he's here, and the next minute he was gone. So that was tragic. And for somebody who suffers with mental health, myself, trying to accept that and understand it was just impossible. Even now, it's impossible. I still look at the videos of us in the gym, and it's like he's there, you know. And we had this great relationship where we'd take the piss out of each other, and it was so good. But again, you know, I've got a friend now, funny enough, he's also called Stuart. Like I say, he would do anything for me. So yeah, I don't struggle socially with people who understand me. And there's not a lot of people who do understand me. But new people, new groups of people, yes, I do, yeah. Yeah, I do definitely struggle socially. The person I try and portray is never the one that's going on inside. I enjoy my own company. I don't find a lot of friends, but I've realised who is there now and who's not. Lisa, you're absolutely right. I used to hate my own company. I really, really didn't like my own company, but recently, recent years, last 4 or 5 years, I really do enjoy sometimes just chilling in the house, watching a bit of YouTube, or just sitting on the sofa, you know, doing something as mundane as Candy Crush or something on my phone, and just sitting with my dogs and having a hug with my dogs, and just, you know, and just chill it out on my own. Yeah, it doesn't bother me now. You know, I used to be scared of my own thoughts, and there was no worse time than when, like I say, I was driving trucks, articulated vehicles, all around the UK and around Europe, and a lot of the time on my own, and you're left with your own thoughts. And at the time, I didn't know I had BPD, so, you know, I could go into work one day on a Monday morning, 4:30, ready to go down the road and do a week away from home, in a right great mood, and literally get down the road 8:30 and go into a depot to do a delivery somewhere in Sheffield. And the security guard only had to look at me the wrong way, and I just wanted to throw the keys at him and walk home and quit my job, and just, you know, because I was left to my own devices with my own thoughts, and it was horrible. I get on well with new people and find the older I've got now, I'm 43, who's important. Yeah, you're right, Lisa, you've got to realise, you've got to work out who's important in your life. I mean, for me, my immediate importance in life is my wife and my son. Next on that list, believe it or not, is my dogs and my cats. We've got 3 dogs, 4 lovely cats. We've got the guy in the corner there, Pico, who's been surprisingly quiet. I'm surprised we've not heard a few F words off him. And there he goes. He's heard me. So, and we've got Pico, and we've also got a bearded dragon as well. So he's called Zilla. He's my son's. So we have got a bit of a menagerie of animals, but we own a pet store as well. So that's a reason behind that. So yeah, next on that level is my animals. I put so much trust in my animals. I think anyone out there who's got dogs and cats will understand what I mean. You know, you can be having the worst day in the world, and you come home and your dog just wants to give you a love. Who's that? So that's what the whistling is. Yeah, Lisa, it's not me whistling at you, darling. I promise you, it's the parrot. I don't know if you've heard him. He was whistling the other night, and I didn't actually hear him because I was focusing on this. So maybe he's been whistling more than I think, and I've just not heard him. There we go. There he goes. When you start talking about it, he whistles. So yeah, I thought it was a text alert. No, I'm not that popular, unfortunately. So yeah, my wife, my son, my animals, and I think anyone out there who's got animals will understand that. And then obviously, you know, I've got my wife's mum, dad, family, and my friends, of course, Stuart and a few other friends who I socialise with. But I like to keep my circle small. I like to keep the circles small, so the people. So when I'm having a bad time, I don't have to waffle and bullshit anymore like I used to, making up excuses, saying why I'm not turning up here, or why I'm not going there, or why I don't want to go to work, or why I don't fancy going to the pub today. I don't need to explain. I just need to say to people, yeah, I'm not coming today. I don't have to make excuses anymore. I don't have to do that. So that's actually a relief. It is actually a relief to be able to have a circle around me now where I don't have to make an excuse. You know, I don't have to make an excuse, because that was half the battle. I mean, God knows how many times I had a call out at 9:30 at night, you know, to stop me from going to a function. I mean, Jesus, the amount of call outs I had over a period of about 6 months because I just didn't want to go places I planned to go and I promised to go. I'd even bought outfits to go, you know, a new pair of jeans or a new pair of shoes or something, and then just the morning of it, didn't want to go, and the best excuse was, I've got a call out, I can't make it tonight, you know, I can't turn down the money. And it wasn't, it was just because the cloud had come over me and I wasn't going. So thankfully I don't have to make them excuses. So yeah, you surround yourself with the right people, and that is half of the battle. But again, it's not easy. You've got to whittle down the people who you can trust, and the only way that people are going to understand you with your mental health is by being honest with them and telling them about your mental health, explaining that sometimes you ain't feeling it. I've got supportive parents, my son, cousin, and about 2 reliable friends. And do you know what, Lisa? That's all you need, to be honest. As long as the relationship you have with them people is a good relationship, that's all you need. I'm the person who goes on holiday and concerts by myself. I don't like being let down with plans. Yeah, I get that. But again, you know, it's a little bit sad reading that, because you seem like a nice person. You should be having friends. You should be going to concerts with friends. You should be having them experiences and being able to dance the night away at your favourite artist at the concert with friends as well, and share them memories. You know, do you know what I'm saying by that? I've not been to a lot of concerts in my life. There's a lot of things in life I haven't done because of my mental health. I mean, I've seen probably 4 or 5 concerts in my life. I think I've seen Jean-Michel Jarre many years ago in London as a young man. I've seen Beautiful South, and I think I've seen Oasis a couple of times. Apart from that's probably it. And it's not something that I don't not want to do, but it's just something that the thought of going to that place with all them people that I don't know, and I know if I book the tickets, chances are I'm not going to go. You know, chances are I'm not going to go. Sometimes you meet new people there that I love. Yeah, and I get that, and that all goes back to the it's easy to sort of mingle with strangers. Yeah, I do get that. Where and if that works for you, then that's good. Yeah, and I bet you do meet some good people. I bet you do meet some people, but it is good to have a circle around you though that you do know and you can trust as well, because we do live in a world where there's, you know, not every stranger out there is going to have best intentions. You don't go out, and you need to start pushing yourself to go out. We do live, Nicola, is that Nicole? Nicole, we live in a very, very crazy world. We live in, this world now is 1,000 miles an hour, you know, and everybody seems to think they've got to travel at that same speed, but you don't. You've got to travel at the speed you want to travel at. So if everyone's driving around, you know, 1,000 mile an hour, and you just want to walk, you just walk, you do you. You know, we live in a society now where everybody seems to think that you have to act a certain way to fit in. Well, that's bullshit. You don't have to act a certain way to fit in. You can act the way you want to act. Don't let other people determine how you act, you know. And yes, you do need to push yourself to go out, you know, even if it's just a little bit, even if it's just, I don't know if you have a dog. If you've got a dog, that's a good excuse, you know, put the dog on a lead, put your shoes on, put your jacket on, and just go for a walk. Even if it's just around the block, just around the block, 5-10 minutes. Do that 2-3 times a week. And then the next week, do it again. Don't push yourself too quickly. And then after that, go around 2 blocks for a few weeks until you feel comfortable and you feel like you want to stretch a little bit, and then go a little bit further. And then maybe one day when you're out with your dog, call into a little cafe and sit outside and have a coffee. You might surprise yourself. You might surprise yourself and actually meet somebody just like you, who doesn't get out a lot, who's just out walking a dog, and you might just find a friend who you can start walking your dog with. You never know. I mean, that's just a suggestion, but you have got to try. And you've got to try and keep yourself safe. Yep, always keep in contact with your family. If you're going somewhere where you've not been before, or you feel a little bit anxious about doing, just let people know where you're going. When you get there, just send a text where you're there. No animals, you said last night. So why you don't go out? Okay, so you don't have an animal. Okay, so go for a walk. Just go for a stroll on your own. Do it at daytime. Don't go at night. If obviously, because that can be quite dangerous, especially in the UK these days. But go out through the day on a morning when it's busy, or lunchtime when it's quite busy and there's plenty of traffic and plenty of people out. Just do a small walk around the block, and then after a while, when you feel the confidence, just do a couple of blocks, and then, like I say, find a little cafe somewhere to go. You will feel the benefit of it. You will feel, after going out a few times and having a walk, you'll be like, wow, I've been out, I've done it. I can if you can do them few steps around the block, then you can do a few more around the next block, and so on. I find the best thing to get a clean mind is feeding the ducks in a local park. Yeah, great. And that lady there, let me just go at Nicole, listen to what Lisa's saying there. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you live near a local park. I think most people in the UK live near a park. Again, go through the day, just have a walk in the park, take some bread. If you've got your head over a fence throwing bread to ducks, you don't have to engage with humans. You don't have to. You can just relax your mind. Just feed the ducks. Watch people go by. Just watch the world go by. And you don't own a dog. It's just full of people and kids playing. And you know what, Lisa? There's no better sound, is there, than the fresh air and like kids playing, kids having fun. You know, when you hear kids' enjoyment, you know, it takes you back to when you were younger, to happier times. You know, when we're all adults now, we've all got these issues. And it takes you back to when I was a young child, sort of 4 or 5 years old. God, I was never in. I was at the park. I was up and down slides, roundabouts and seesaws, and it takes you back to that time. That's a happy time, and I get that. I can understand why you go to the park. It is good. But Nicole, you could try that. You could try that. Just have a walk down your local park if you've got one. Going fishing is a great thing. Do you know what, Stephen, right? I've never ever been into fishing, and I don't diss it, but it was something I said to my son recently. Where we live here, we're only about 15 minutes from Torrevieja, which is like an old fishing port. It's a big town now, a lot of flats and apartments, but it's still got a fishing port and a lot of boats, and you can go out pretty cheap. I mean, I think there's a guy who charges about €30 per person to take you out fishing on a boat about 2 or 3 miles out, and it's something I've said I'm going to do, because not so much the fishing aspect of it, but I get what you're saying, the aspect of just sitting on a boat, bobbing up and down with a little fishing rod going. And I don't think I'd be too arsed if I caught anything, to be honest. I think I'd like that peace and solitude, and yeah, I get that. But fishing's not something I've ever really, really been into. I did try it once as a young man, and I got a fishing hook caught right through my finger, and I just thought, sod that. It's brilliant, you can watch the world go by. Yeah, I can imagine, that's what I'm saying, yeah. Just sitting on a boat, bobbing up and down, and I think you're probably talking more about river fishing, maybe sitting on a riverbank, and yeah, I get that as well. It is peaceful. The sound of nature, the trees blowing and the wind blowing, a lot of us take that for granted, but we got to be grateful for things like that. But yeah, sea fishing something I've considered, and it is something I will do, but it's like a lot of things in life. I plan on doing it, and in 5-6 years time I get around to doing it, because I always find an excuse not to. And again, that goes back to my borderline personality disorder. You're always looking for an excuse to not do something, because you tell yourself you can't do it. You're telling yourself you can't do it. Finding a hobby to occupy your mind when you're feeling a bit down on days. Lisa, you're absolutely right. And I've got to be honest, this is good for me. I mean, I'm almost an hour in now, and I actually feel like it's a bit of a therapy session for me. Being able to just sit here and talk to complete strangers, although none of us are strangers now. I like to think we're all a bit of a community on here now, and you'll join me again. I think we've got a bit of a community here, so we're not strangers anymore, regardless of whether us guys have never met. For all I know, them pictures of you on your profiles could not even be you, but it doesn't matter. We've made that connection. We've all made a connection now. We're all talking to each other, and that's a start. At one point out, we had 40 odd people watching me, and I was absolutely astounded, because today I said to my wife, what if no one comes and listens to me? What if they tune in and they think, oh, he's just waffling shit, and they just disappear? But people are still here listening, so that's good. That's good. And if we can build some kind of community here, and and keep this connection going, I think we'll all benefit from this. Refocusing your energy. I have a cognitive therapy years for depression. Yep. I've heard about that cognitive therapy. I've not really looked into it too much, but it is something I will look into now you're saying that, Lisa. You've just joined and I'm good friends with... Kushla, yes. Okay, Nikki Bamboo. Okay, yeah, we know. My wife speaks to Kushla a lot. Yes, okay. Okay, I get... Yeah, thanks for joining. Lovely to meet you. Yeah, so you've probably... Yeah, but you've missed a lot of what I've been talking about. But basically, I feel like I've been waffling a lot, to be honest. But it's felt good just waffling and trying to tell a story. But basically just talking about my mental health and your mental health and everyone's mental health and the fact that us fellas never seem to ask for help enough. We get ourselves into such situations and sadly so many men statistically are taking their lives and all because they don't say them 4 words, I need some help. So that's basically what we've been chatting about. And I know I said at the beginning of this live that let me just get some water. We're going to start talking about the effect it has on our partners. And I will be doing that. But like I said, tonight I just want to be brief. Well, brief, we're an hour in, but to tell you more about myself and what's happening there. Okay, I've got to drag a puzzle. What's going on? 1 second. Bear with me, guys. I don't know what the hell's going on my screen. Okay. What's going on? What the hell's going on? Something's going on my screen, something I've never ever seen before. There we go. Now get rid of that. I don't know what that was. That must be something that comes on live. You've got to do every so often. Slot a puzzle into I don't know what it was anyways. Maybe one of you guys can tell me. So I am going to, over the next sort of coming weeks, talk more about situations I've been in my own life and how it's affected my wife. And I did speak to my wife, and although she's never actually done a live, well, she has done a live, but she's never actually done a live on her face. She's done it when we've been searching for somebody and she had the camera facing the other way, but she has agreed at some point. She said to me, I've got to have my hair done, I've got to have my makeup done, I've got to look right. You know, she'll probably want to put a filter on because you women love to do that, but she said she will come on here one night and she will, when she's a bit more braver and she's ready to explain the effects that my mental health has had on her and what it's like for her seeing me in a bit of an episode and what it's like seeing me go from Happy Jay sitting on the sofa laughing and joking to 2 minutes later kicking a dog cage down the hallway because I've just lost my shit because something just wasn't right, you know. So love that you're raising awareness of mental health. Good job. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you very much. It's like I say, it's something I am so passionate about. And is your wife in the UK as well? Yes, she is. She is, Lisa. We've been together now for the best part of nearly 20 years. So yeah, we got married in 2012. So we've been married now 13 years this year. We were going to renew our vows a few years ago, but what with COVID and life just, yeah, it's something we will do. And I've said to my wife I wanted to renew my vows because the vows I made to her back in 2012 and then I got a diagnosis after that and life changed for me drastically. So yeah, drop her a follow, Lisa. Do drop her a follow. You'll find her on there. She's on there. You'll find her. She's got bright red hair. She's got loads of tattoos like me. So yeah, it is something we're going to do. But we've been married now 13 years, and she's from the UK. Yeah, we moved here together. So yeah, she's my world. I'll be honest. She'll tell you sometimes she doesn't feel like my world because I do put her through the ringer. I know I do. But again, it's never ever deliberate. You're such a friendly person. What's that? Praying hands. Okay, I like that. You're such a friendly person. I'm happy I've joined it and don't usually comment in lives. Well, I feel honoured then, Lisa, because the only way we're going to do this as a group and as a community, I think that's the best way to describe us as a community. If we can get a little community going on here where we have regular chats, and then from time to time I might even get someone who, if you're brave enough and you're ready to talk, to come on a live with me, and we'll get you on here and we'll listen to your story, or if there's any questions you want to ask, we can get you on and build a kind of a community on here and make this a regular ongoing thing. And I think we could get something really good going. But going back to my wife, she is at some point, there's my little puppy now, she's decided she wants to come and have a cuddle. She wants to have a cuddle. Hello, baby. So we've got a little micro XL bully. So she's very, very miniature bully. because my wife's half Italian, she looks like a biscuit. She's brown, she's got a white stripe down her nose. So we call her Biscuit, but in Italian she's called Biscotti. Although we call her baby girl, cowbag, little bitch and all sorts. She's got so many nicknames, but she's come to see me. But yes, my wife is planning at some point when she's ready, she will come on and she will discuss. And I think it'd be nice if some of you guys on here look forward to the live with Kay. Yeah, she's an amazing person, Kay, and I say this all the time. There's something about her that people just hone in on. I mean, like I say, we've got cats. I mean, I can lay on my side of the bed, on my side, all night sleeping, totally free with space. Kay will wake up in the morning, she's got the puppy on one end, she's got 2 cats sitting on a pillow, she's got one sitting down the side, they all just seem to flock around her. We come home from work, the cats and dogs go to her. They just seem to hone on her. People come into my business. If sometimes they come into the shop and she's not there, where's Kay? Where is she? And when you say, oh, she's not in today, they go, oh, I was really looking forward to seeing Kay. And I sort of go, oh, what about me? And they go, no, I don't mean that the wrong way. But they just love to see Kay. She is a really, really good person. She's a really, really friendly person. And anyone who knows her and gets to know her will realise she's a diamond. And I'm blessed to have her, because the shit I put her through over the years, anyone else, if she didn't love me and I wasn't her world, she wouldn't be here. So I've got to take my hat off to her for that. So yeah, definitely. But yeah, she will come on here at some point and we will discuss a little bit more about the effect my mental health has on Kay. Because it is traumatic for me, but it is just as traumatic for her. I'd like to think I could get my son Jack on, but I know he wouldn't do it. Because again, like we spoke earlier, he has a bit of social anxiety and there's no chance I would get him on here. But I can tell you now, he could tell some stories, of me when I've sort of been in a bit of an episode and things have been, what's the word? Fractious, that's the best way to say it. I mean, getting up in the morning, drinking your coffee, putting your shoes on, smiling to the world. Next thing, you're kicking a dog cage down the hallway. You've just lost it because you couldn't find your training shoe, or something just tips you off. Again, I'm very OCD-ish as well. So, and not just in material things, in order. Sort of, if my day is planned and at 9 o'clock I'm going for breakfast, at 10:30 I'm meeting somebody, at 11 o'clock I'm doing this, and at 1 o'clock I've got to be there, and 5 o'clock we're going out. If somebody alters that day just because they want to, that just really, really messes me up, and that can just really just flip a switch. So yeah, going back to when, sometimes some mornings I'll get up and I'll plan on putting on the black shorts or the white t-shirt. If the white t-shirt's dirty or I can't find it, or God, Jesus, I hear my wife go, oh God, here we go. And I'm laughing about it, but I shouldn't laugh about it, because that really does put me into a bit of a tailspin. It does put me into a tailspin because that's BPD. I can't explain it. That is BPD. That is what it does for you. So, I hope that's explained a bit about me, guys. I hope that's explained a little bit about where I come from, how my day-to-day life is. And like I said, we will talk a little bit more in the future about my past. I'd like to hear about your past as well. And again, like to build some kind of community on here where we can do this often and we can all interact with each other and talk about our individual daily lives suffering with mental health and our partners as well. And hopefully we can all make a difference to each other. What I would like to say though is, thanks for anyone who's actually come on here tonight and listened to me waffling for the best part of an hour and 10 minutes. I'm not going yet. I'm going to be about another 10-15 minutes if you don't mind staying with me. But I'd like to just thank you all for coming on here and sticking with us tonight, because it does mean a lot to me. And what it has proved, and I hope this has proved something, this is what I wanted to do. And I have not said this yet until this point. When I was saying earlier about all you guys out there who struggle and don't think it's masculine enough to just open your mouth and say them 4 words, I need some help. Well, I hope now that I've proved to you that if you ask for that help, you will get it, and you can do different things. You can make a good life for yourself. Mental illness doesn't have to be you. It doesn't have to be your everything. If you can learn to talk about it, and you can learn to deal with it. You know, I know for a fact there's no cure for what I have. You know, I know people say medication and group talks and things like that, but I'm not the sort of guy who'll go and sit in a group and say, hello, my name's Jay and I've got BPD, and talk about it in a group like that, because that's just not me. And I'm not dissing anybody that does go and sit and talk in a group, by the way, that either works for you or it doesn't. I was given that chance a few years back and it was not for me, no, not for me at all. But I have to say that being on here tonight and talking to you guys and your listening's been interacting with you, which has been amazing. I mean, you know, everyone's come on and commented, and Angie, thanks to you as well. Coming on and commenting means the world to me, because I'm obviously doing something right. So if I can come on here as a big burly guy, almost 6'5", again I'll say it again, 17.5 stone. I'm a big imposing guy. I'm broad and I'm an imposing guy. If I can come on here and sit and just speak to a camera live, and anybody in the world can sit and literally see this now if they wanted to, and tell people about having mental health and admitting that it is a struggle, but you know, talking about it helps. If I can do that, then I'm hoping that I've proved some way tonight that any other guys out there, any women on here whose fellas are having that problem, you know, then I've proved that you can do that. It doesn't matter whether you're 6'5", 5'8", 7 stone ringing wet. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, us men don't speak enough. Do I find it difficult to maintain certain relationships, kids, family, friends? Well, I don't know if you possibly weren't on earlier on, but yeah, you do. That is borderline personality. All through my life, as a child, I mean, I used to go from friend to friend to friend. I'd fall out with friends. When I was young, I'd fight with them, and you know, literally fisty fight with them, and it was never my fault. It was always everybody else's fault. You know, if I smashed a window, it was never my fault. I didn't throw the stone. It was their fault. And yeah, struggled with relationships. I struggled with relationships with friends, with jobs, with girlfriends when I was younger. You know, I could be in a situation where I was happy with a friend, and then all of a sudden I get up the next day and I just think he's a knobhead, and I wouldn't bother. And that said more about me than them. But it's only when I got older and I got a diagnosis and I read up on this borderline personality, and you read it, and you're 10 minutes in, you go, wow, so that's it then. So that explains a lot. I mean, you read up on borderline personality disorder and you struggle maintaining relationships. And whether that be work or friendships or you know, physical relationships with partners, it is difficult to maintain them, because you're never the same person twice, and eventually it wears most people down. You know, especially, you know, if you've got a new relationship, you know, most people would see the signs initially, and because back then when I was younger, I didn't have any kind of diagnosis. I just thought I was this bad person. I thought I was this unlovable person, or this person who people didn't want to be friends with. So yeah, it's difficult. It's only when I've got older and I've got this diagnosis, and I dare say I think if I hadn't got a diagnosis, I sometimes think to myself, would my wife still be with me? I think she would, because I know what I mean to her. But a diagnosis makes all the difference, because it gives you a lot of answers. It explains a lot of things from your past, why them relationships, friends, jobs and things, and family especially, family, why they didn't work, and why they sort of fall by the wayside. So yeah. And again, it's not me, it's not them. It is this thing. I like to call it this thing, this darkness, this mental illness that affects you 10, 20 times a day most days. But again, you have your good days where you're happy, Jay. You might go quiet for an hour, and then most of the day you're sort of in and out of happy and just quiet. But then you have every so often you have them days where you literally just want to you suffer with PTSD and depression from 2005. PTSD, anxiety and depression. Keep your head up, my heart strong. Cheers, Brian. Yeah, Brian, I agree with you. I mean, I have PTSD, and although I've been in the forces, my PTSD, I believe, stems from when I was younger, from things that happened to me when I was younger. Like I said earlier, to you people on there, once we all start to get know each other a bit better, and we build this community, create this community on here, I'll be a little bit more honest with some more details of my past, if people are interested in listening, and hopefully some of you people as well. I boxed with John George 2001 till 2008, and Billy Speaks. A lot of you say, "Oh, Brian, thank you very much." Yeah, Billy's a lovely guy. It's just sad that the circumstances in which I met the guy were the fact we were looking for his son. But I think a lot of you know on here anyway. I lost a son last June. He was tragically murdered in Stockton-on-Tees. It was the day we moved into this lovely home that we've just moved into. We were stood in the garden, looking up at the house, so pleased with ourselves, so proud of ourselves, and we got a call to say that my son in the UK had been tragically killed while we were here, and we couldn't be there. So we've been through our own trauma, and when my wife said to me, "We need to go and help this family," yeah, we did, and we would do it again. We would do it with anybody, to be honest, because we're human beings, and as human beings, we've got to understand that if people are in need and you can give your time and you can give your love and your feeling towards them and just be there for them, then I think we all have a calling to do that. But yeah, Brian, thank you. Yeah, and we've not spoken to Billy. I know he's only got home recently, and the family are going through a horrendous time. And I did see that the funeral's next Friday, and I think John's body's arriving home Monday, I'm led to believe. But if you do see him, yeah, tell him, give him my love, tell him I'm asking about him. I have got him on WhatsApp anyway, but I haven't spoken to him in the last few days because we're just giving him that space and that time so the family can process what's happened and they can grieve. So yeah, thank you, Brian. Thanks for saying that. I have CPTSD. All comes. What, Kerry? What is? Sorry, I don't know if that's just a misprint or CPTSD. What is that? What is that, Kerry? What is CPTSD? I'm not aware of what that is. So if you don't mind, just tell me what that is. Because I'm curious. First of all, I thought it was just a misprint, but I don't think it is. I think I've seen that earlier on here as well. If anyone... Is Kerry still on? Yes, she is still on. If you can tell me, Kerry, what CPTSD is, please, I'd really appreciate that. But anyway, guys, it has... it's been a pleasure actually coming on tonight. It's been of great help to myself being able to talk, and I never ever thought I'd be the sort of guy who would sit in my front room on my iPhone with all this kit, all these wires and all these lights and all this kind of stuff, a little glass of water, nice and silent, chatting away to just people who I've never ever met in the world, about my own issues. So I'm actually quite proud of myself for doing that, and that's not me trying to give myself a pat on the back. I'm just proud that I've been able to do that, because by doing that, I'm sure that, and I hope it gets some other men out there to have the balls and to be able to do that as well, because I think we all need to reach out. Anyone who's got any serious mental health issues or they're struggling in life need to miss out. Does she mean the C for child PTSD? Aye. Or is it chronic? Complex post-traumatic stress disorder. Right, Kerry? Okay, I get you now. Yeah, sorry, I wasn't being ignorant, Kerry. I've never heard that see it like that written down like that. CPTSD. Yeah, but complex post-traumatic stress disorder, and I can imagine that is quite debilitating as well. A lot of people don't understand traumatic stress disorder. People just seem to think, it's, you get a little bit nervous and things like that, but you can really, certain things in life, you could be watching a program and just a little vision on that program can take you back to a place in your past that was a really traumatic experience. It could be something similar as a car accident at the time. You might have hurt yourself, the doctors fixed you up, and now 20 years later you're getting on with your life and you could see an accident on the TV and boom, you're back there again, and you can really suffer for days on end. But complex post-traumatic stress disorder is quite debilitating for some people, I do know that. So my heart goes out for you, Betty, it really does. My heart goes out for you, Kerry, it really does. Lisa Jane, much respect for you. These lives will help so many people. These lives, yes. I hope so, Lisa. That's the plan. And like I say, and I'm not just going to stop this tonight. I'm going to do more. I'm not going to nail my colours to the mast and say it's going to be every Monday and Thursday, but the next one probably will be Monday, because like I say, I'm busy Saturday. I'm 6'2", 18.5 stone. I'm suffering for years. Doesn't make me or you any less of a man. Love you. I love you too, Brian. I do, mate. And you shouldn't suffer. And I just hope, Brian, by the way you've done that, Brian, if that's the first time you've ever come out and admitted that, then I feel honoured. If it's not, and you are actually getting help, then fair play to you as well, mate. But you're welcome to come on here. You're welcome to message me as well and chat to me if you ever want to discuss anything personally. And that's what I say to anybody in here. You're welcome to send me a message. Listen, if I don't get back to you straight away, it doesn't mean to say I'm ignoring. Even if I open your message and you see it's been opened, it doesn't mean to say I'm not going to get back to you. Sometimes I'm working in my business, sometimes I'm working in my wife's business, helping her out, sometimes I'm out walking the dogs. I will get back to you though. I will always get back to you. Again, Brian, you must be one hell of a unit as well, mate. I mean, you're a big guy, so and you've been suffering for years. Getting there, big man. We will talk. Your respect here in Northern Ireland. Thank you. And we would love, I mean, if you can see Billy and Sharon, if you could just tell them we would love to come over for the funeral. But unfortunately, because like I've said on here, we have two businesses that we run here. I have a business, my wife has a business, and we have dogs and cats and stuff. We just can't physically get there. We just couldn't physically shut the two businesses just like that, and it's a bit devastating because having been there with the family helping to search for John, and the funeral being next week, we would love to. Yeah, you're seeing him tomorrow, so please just do us a favour, give him my love, tell him I was asking after him, and he knows where I am if he needs me. But just explain we would love to be there, but we can't. But we are making plans sometime this year, because we did speak to Sharon. She said she's got a caravan up in Newcastle, I think. So she said if we want to come over, we can have a few days there and spend some time with the family. So I think we'd do that. And I've got a funny feeling they'll probably come to Spain once a year and just show the respects to where John was found. And if they do, we'll get to spend time with them that way, because we certainly want to keep that relationship going with them. So great family, and it's just sad, tragic circumstances in which we met them. Will be live streamed through the funeral. Right, okay. If you can get someone, Brian, to send me that link then, mate, because we'll definitely be watching that. We'll definitely be watching that, yeah. We'd definitely love to watch that. And what I might do is there's going to be thousands and thousands of people there, I think, from what we're hearing. Spain hasn't seen the last of us. I'll get you sorted with a link. Thank you. Yeah, Brian, you're a star, mate. You are a star. Absolute star. Thank you very much. But yeah, give Billy my love, and if you see Sharon as well, give her my love. Give her a hug. Give them both a hug from us. We're asking for them. Tell them we're just at the moment we're just respecting their time with the family. It's only a few days since the tragic news that John was found, so I think they understand why we're not sort of phoning them, but they know where we are. We've got them on WhatsApp, and we'll definitely watch the funeral, definitely. But yeah, Brian, again, what I said there's you don't have to struggle. If you ever need to chat with me, mate, and there's going to be times I might even want to chat with you, because even though I'm sitting on here talking about my mental health and like I've got it all together, you got me in a good day today. All right, so things can change from day to day with mental health, whether it be PTSD, borderline personality disorder, bipolar, anxiety, depression. It is all quite debilitating at times. He's back Thursday, but I'll PM you and let you get back to your live. Speak soon, sir. Brian, absolute pleasure, mate. You take care, and we'll speak soon. But you just give me a message on here, send me that link over, and we'll definitely. Are you doing more of these? Been great hearing others. Stace, yes, definitely. This is something that I'm very passionate about, and I have got some plans I want to do in the future regarding the mental health. Now, I'm going to give a brief breakdown on here before I go, because and I'll explain why I'm going to do it. Mental health and the homeless epidemic in the UK tend to go hand in hand. Being ex-forces myself and reading of how many ex-forces there are living on the street in the UK without any help is horrendous. And I don't want to go too much into the politics of it, and I don't want to go too much into these dinghies that are coming across to the UK and things like that. But when you've got thousands of people coming from other countries being gifted phones and hotels and meals a day and all that kind of thing, it absolutely kills me when I just pick up a newspaper and you read a story of John, who served in the forces, is living on the street. He's been there for 4 years, and he can't get any help, and it really drives me mad. And then you listen to the guy's story, and he, from what he's seen from the forces, the action he's seen, and the situations he's been in. He's seen his friends killed and things like that, and he's living on the street. And that guy risked his life for the country, and he can't get any help. And you tend to find that a lot of link to all of that is mental health. So I have got a plan in the future, and what I'm wanting to do, with the help of you, and I'm going to be doing some things out here as well with my stand-up. I'm going to try and raise money. I want to try and raise some money. I want to go to the UK, and I want to spend a couple of weeks living on the streets with some homeless people, and I'm going to actually do it, legit. I'm going to go with my tracksuit, my trainers on, my jacket. I'll take a sleeping bag. Yeah, you're right, Kirsty. A lot of people are only a couple of pay slips away from homelessness. That's true. That is true. But I want to go to the UK, and I want to spend a couple of weeks living with the homeless. And I want to find a guy who's going to come with me and film it. And I want to highlight the actual seriousness of the homeless in the UK, because I know we see it on the TV and all that kind of thing, but they never, ever really go into the details. You never, ever see them really interviewing an ex-soldier who served in Afghanistan or served in Iraq, who's seen things and done things for his country. I mean, it's because of people who serve in the forces, why a lot of people can sleep safely in their beds, and yet these people are sleeping on the street, with no help at all. So it's a passion of mine. I want to make a documentary. I want to go and I want to help the homeless, and I want to get their stories. I want to document them through the power of social media, through TikTok, through YouTube, and anything I can. And I want to try and raise £10,000. Because what I want to do, I want to get a good film crew. I'm probably going to need some safety while I'm there, so I'm going to need to hire somebody to just look after us. I'm actually going to live on the streets for 2 weeks with these people, documenting and interviewing different homeless people, and hopefully make a change that way, because it drives me mad. It just drives me mad when you look at the newspapers and then you see and you hear of these people living on the streets, and these are people who've got family, these are people who are loved, these are people who've sacrificed themselves for the safety of others, and they're living on the streets. So it's something I want to do, and it's something I'll talk about more going in the future, but I want to do it. I want to go back to the UK. I want to close my business for a couple of weeks, go to the UK, live on the streets, and hopefully raise enough money so when I'm there, before I go, I can give some people some money and help them, and if it means buying them a bottle of whiskey to get them through the day, then that's what I'll do, because it drives me mad. It absolutely drives me mad that people say, they're just drunks on the street. No, they're not. That bottle of whiskey or that bottle of cider is the only thing they've got to look forward to get them through the day. And people say things like, yeah, well, they need to get themselves clean. No, they need to get a house first. They need to get off the streets first. Once somebody can get them off the streets, then we can think about getting them some help with their alcoholism. Then we can think about getting them some help with the drug addiction. Then we can get them some help with their mental health disorder or whatever's going on for them. But the first thing is we've got to highlight the plight of the homeless people, and that is something that links in with the mental health. And without going too deep in the situation, I've been in a situation in my life before I met my wife where I've been very, very close to that, and I was only, it's the best way to say this is, I was only a few steps away from being one of them people, drinking my days sitting in the doorway. So it means a lot to me. It means a hell of a lot to me to try and do something to do this. It's hard with no foundation to get started. You're right, Stacey. Yeah, I haven't got a foundation. I haven't got one at all. But I tell you what, I've got the will to do it, and I've got determination, and that's all you need. And I've got a voice to ask, so through businesses out here, through my own business, through charity events here, through people on here, things like that, I'm going to start raising the funds. When I get to somewhere near where I want to be, the homeless getting clean. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, sorry about that. I misunderstood what you're saying there. You're right. Yeah, there is no foundation. But homeless people just get overlooked. We've all done it. I've walked from one pub to another on a Saturday night, 10:30, half drunk, and you see a drunken guy in the corner, and I'm proud to say I've never, ever give them any shit. 9 times out of 10 I give them some money, whether it be a couple of pounds or something. In fact, only a few years ago, this is a funny story actually, me and my wife were in Hartlepool, and we were parked in the car park. You walk down a little ramp, and there was a guy sitting, and where he was sat around the snow, the warmth of his body had melted the ice, and he was sat there, and we were going to go to the McDonald's, and I said to my wife, come on, let's grab him she said it actually, let's go and grab him a breakfast. So we went and got him a cheeseburger and chips, and a cup of coffee, and we put a couple of sugars in it for him, and we took it out for him. I mean, it was £2 or £3, I suppose it was. And we went out, and the funny thing was, I don't like cheese on my burgers, he said. And have you put sugar in that coffee? When you went, I can't drink that, it's got sugar in it. He said, don't worry, I'll drink it anyway, though. And I remember sat there thinking, that old saying, beggars can't be choosers, but yeah, I didn't feel disrespected by the guy. You know, what I should have done was, I said to him, I'm going into McDonald's, mate, would you like something? Because at the end of the day, although he's homeless, I should have still given him the choice of what he would have liked. And I didn't, I just presumed he wanted a burger and chips and a coffee with sugar. You know, people just presume people on the street homeless, they'll just, no matter what you give them, they will eat or they will drink. Well, no, they're like us, they have taste as well. So what I should have done was, I should have went and said to him, I'm going into McDonald's, what would you like? Would you like a burger and a coffee? And he would have told me that way. I would have took the meal out to him and he would have thoroughly enjoyed it. Great job. Oh, just TikTok tell me that I've been live for almost 90 minutes and it's time to take a break. Belfast is a very, very bad journey, and I would be up for doing it with you and help Brian McShane. Brian, we'll chat about that, because that was another thing I was going to say. I would like to do it with somebody else. I think there's safety in numbers, if you know what I mean. There's definitely safety in numbers, and with you being a Belfast guy, I'm sure you know a lot of people, and obviously with the George family as well, I'm sure we could get a lot of support and a lot of eyes and ears on it. So that'd be great, that if we could do that and get there and get the local news and papers to do that. That's a good idea, actually. That's something we should talk about, definitely. But it is definitely something I want to do. So I want to go to the UK, or like Brian said there, Belfast got a bad situation. So that'd be. I do actually like the Irish people. Actually, I think they're great people, hard-working, honest people. You know. They will tell you if you're a shithead, and they'll tell you if you're a nice guy, and they won't go anywhere in the middle. They will just tell you straight as it is. So yeah, I like that idea. But yeah, that's a plan. That's a plan with the mental health, is to, in time, through the power of TikTok and through the power of my YouTube channel, which, by the way, everybody, go on my profile, my YouTube channel's there. Click on the link. It does work. Somebody said it didn't work. I think it's because I sent it in a message. Click on the link, go to my YouTube. I'm going to start putting videos on there, obviously not the lives, but any videos I start making that aren't live, I'm going to start doing them, start putting them on my YouTube, try and build the YouTube up and try and raise funds for the homeless on there, and obviously, hopefully, like I say, get across to the UK or Belfast or wherever it may be and spend a couple of weeks and help some homeless people. At the same time, we're going to document it with video through the day and interviews with individual people. And this isn't just going to be, by the way, for ex-forces, by the way. This is going to be for anybody. I just want to go and I want to meet the individuals. I want to go and sit on the streets, and I want to get the honest opinion of people who are living on the streets. And don't get me wrong, there's actually some people who live on the streets who absolutely love it, and even if you offered them a home, they don't want it, and that's fine. But they're very few and far between. I'd like to meet the people who are there not by choice, but just by circumstance. Nobody gets up one morning and decides, you know what I really want to do? I want to go and live on the street. No, they don't. It's life kicks them, and certain circumstances lead them to that, and they end up in a situation that they struggle getting out of. So I'm very passionate about that. I'm very passionate about mental health, and I think mental health and the homeless have a massive link. They really do. So that's something I want to do. But we will talk about that more, and I am going to start doing some research myself of ways of how I can raise the funds to do that, and genuinely go and try and help some homeless people. And I think if I could just go, I said to my wife the other night when I talked about this, she was like, "Wow, really? You want to actually live on the streets?" Now, I don't want to live on the streets. Nobody wants to live on the streets. But I want to go down there with the guys, and I want to live their life for a couple of weeks and genuinely do it. I'm not going to take a backpack with clean socks and clean. I'm going to live like these guys do. And if there's a little open place where they go with the soup kitchens, I want to go and eat in these soup kitchens. I want to meet the people. And if there's places where these people manage to get a shower, whether it be once a week or I want to do that. I want to live authentically with these people on the street and not cheat in any way. And at the end of it, then have a good meal and maybe take a handful of people and give them a good meal and give them some money. But while I'm there doing it, actually genuinely live like them, where I literally have no money in my pocket, maybe it's a couple of quid, and sit with them and try and see what it's like to actually raise enough money through the day just by begging with a card, and not just documenting their lives, but also documenting people who walk past you, the looks on their faces, just to show people, just the way people treat homeless people and the way they walk past them and the way they look at them. I mean, some homeless people, they're kicked and spat at and they're abused and everything, you know. They're no less than us. They're no less of a human being than me, you, or anybody. They're just people who've fell into a situation through circumstance and they need help. And, you know, if I can go and document all this and interview some and change a few lives, and, you know, that'd mean the world to me. That would really, really, really mean the world to me. So, yeah, so on Brian McShane on Facebook, just look for the ginger with the Christmas tree behind me. I think I've got you on there, Brian. I'm not sure. Have I got you on there? If not, I will look for you. I'll find you through Billy, I'm sure, on there, and the rest of the family. But yeah, I like you, Brian. You're a bit of a character, the ginger. So you're a ginger, Brian. You're ginger. Well, there's no point me inviting you out to Spain, Brian, is there, if you're ginger, because, I mean, you and the sunshine out here ain't going to get on my mate, are you? Exactly. Look down on no one unless you're helping them up. Do you know what, sweet cheeks? You're absolutely spot on. What a good way to say it. Be like a lobster. Yeah, you would. Yeah, Brian, you would. Yeah, you would. Sweet cheeks. That what I think to say. You know, never look down on anyone unless you're helping them up. I think I have seen that before, but. Your accent is a cross between Manx, Scouse, Warrington. There's a bit of Welsh, Manc, Teesside in me, so it's certainly not Scouse. Oh my God, no Scouse, please. I think the reason why that is sorry, what's your name again? Kirsty. The reason why that is, Kirsty, because I spent time in the forces. So I was with the Scottish, the Irish, the Manx, the Scouse, the Geordies, the Cockneys, the West Country, Southampton, and you know, Bristolians, and a little bit of everything. And people say I tried to talk posh, but there's not a posh accent in there, I can assure you. There's certainly not a posh accent in there. Big up the northern people in here. Yeah, tell me where you're all from, by the way. I don't actually know where everyone's from. I've seen a few Welsh flags earlier on. Big up the Welsh, but I don't know where everyone's from. It's nice to know where everyone's from, and I won't always remember it, but you keep reminding me. Eventually I'll be able to know where Lisa's from and know where Sweet Cheeks is from, and I know where Brian's from. All us from Belfast. Lorraine. Boy, we got a lot of Belfast here. Everyone Belfast. Oh, Kirsty Ann, yeah, of course. Wigan. Ballymena, Northern Ireland. God, there's so many Irish on here. Wigan born and bred, Lisa G. Yeah, I know that one, yeah. Belfast. Wow, so many people from Belfast. So many. Leicester. I know Leicester. I used to park there in my truck at just is it Foss Park? Tell me if I'm wrong. Foss Park? Wales, sheep. Australia, LJ, you're from Australia. What time is it in Australia? You must be in the early hours of the morning, surely. Thanks guys for the support. Oh, it's my wife. That's my wife there. That's my missus. Kay. If anyone doesn't know her, go on Kay and add her as a friend, follow her. Keep in touch. She's a good egg. She's a good egg. Kate, are you the lovely wife? She is the amazing wife, Lisa Jane. She's the amazing wife. I'm Carl J. Sheep Carl. Okay, Carl, I might forget that. All right, you might have to keep reminding me because I'm a shit for names. You can stand in front of me and tell me your name's John, and 2 minutes later I'll turn around and say, what was your name again? Told you you're respected from Belfast once for doing what you've done, Kate. Still pink hairs. Yeah, she's very. She does stand out, my missus, with her pink hair and her tattoos. I mean, you want to see us both when we walk into a supermarket here in Spain, and the majority of people where we live are quite old people. I mean, there's a lot of pensioners, a lot of older people, and we walk through the supermarket in the summer. I mean, she's got a vest on and little shorts and flip-flops, and there's me with my vest on and my shorts and flip-flops, and we're just covered in ink, and people look at us like we're two circus freaks. Okay, what you and Jay done for the Georges, I'll never forget. God bless you. Nickname. What nickname? What's your real name? If you don't mind me telling you. If you don't mind telling me. Sheep, I know. Carl. I remembered Carl. Carl Yeats. Carl Yeats. Do I know you, Carl? Are you Carl from here? Are you Carl from here? I've met you, I think. Or is it a different Carl? LJ. Is it you, LJ, who said you're from Australia? Nickname, thank you. Ah, yeah, I get it. Shauna. Okay, Shauna. I'm trying to remember the name. So, Carl. Sheep, you're Carl. Nickname, you're Shauna. Okay, that's good. Right, guys, listen, I'm going to wrap this up because what I don't want to do is just sit and waffle and waffle and waffle. I tend to watch some lives, and after about 10 minutes, you just think, what they're actually talking about. Yes, you're from Australia. I fixed your phone. I thought it was you, Carl. Yeah, nice one, mate. Nice one. Nickname looks stunning. Nickname looks Brian. I have heard that this is a bit of a dating app, Brian. So you crack away, mate. Sorry, only created a TikTok account because of John. Right, okay, yep, I get you. Well, to be honest with you, Shauna, I've had my TikTok account for quite a while, and I think I got up to about 900 and something followers, and I always planned on sort of going live. And then with the situation with John, I put a video on the beach that day of the rocks, and it got something like 240 odd thousand views, and I was like, wow. And then my followers went up, and then I thought, you know what? I'm going to use the power of TikTok, and I'm going to use it to do what I'm doing now. So, yeah, I get you. But you know what? TikTok, a lot of people. I used to slag it a bit. I used to think TikTok was just for young kids dancing in the bedroom and doing funny videos, and it is for that. But I think there's a lot of good can be done with TikTok as well. Wow, we're up to 40 people again now, so we've had some people joining. That's lovely. You missed the beginning. Are you gonna discuss your own mental health story, Kirsty Ann? I have done, and I'm sorry that you've missed it. And I don't want to tell you that I'm not going to do it, because I will do it again. But I'm about to wrap up in the next few minutes, because I've been on here now for the best part of an hour and 40, and to be honest, the time has flown. It's been amazing talking to everybody. LG, that's where I found you and your wife from the John JG case. So I am going to discuss my mental health over the coming weeks, and like I said, I've got a couple of gigs this weekend myself. I'm doing some stand up Saturday and Sunday, so I'm absolutely shitting my pants for that, because I've done it once before, and it was okay, but nerves got the better of me. But I remember the feeling when I come off the stage after the first 5 minute set, and it was just euphoric. It was just fantastic, and I understand why a lot of comedians have mental health, and I get why they do it, because that feeling they get when they come off the stage, that feeling of just talking to a room full of strangers is quite euphoric. So yeah, Brian, see you soon, big man. Look after care. Facebook and reason. Is that woman of yours? Yeah, definitely. The reason why I am here is because of that woman of mine, because if it wasn't for her, mate, I wouldn't be here. So going back to that, Kerry Ann, I am going to discuss my mental health again, but I have actually been discussing it now for the last sort of best hour and a half, briefly, but I am going to go into more detail of my mental health. I mean, I've basically just skirted on my life, my early life, what I did as an adult, and then what I've, since my diagnosis, moving out of Spain. But since I've come out of Spain, I've started a business that's been going the best part of 7 years now. A really, really good business. We have great reputation. And then my wife's just opened another business recently, and, she's starting to build that. So if I can do that, move to another country with a person that I love, and make a little life for myself and us, then, and it all started with me by saying 4 words: I need some help. So just remember that. Them 4 words is I need some help. And I actually quite like that. I might actually see about getting a t-shirt or something like that, and just to wear when I'm doing these lives, just to have a t-shirt that says I need some help, because I think that's all it starts with for anybody, whether man, woman or child. It just needs them 4 words: I need some help. And once them words come out your mouth, the rest will just go. The rest will just flow. It will flow. So I will be discussing my mental health a little bit more, Kerry Ann, but it won't be tonight now, because I am about to leave you all for the evening, and they've got messages flying through. Absolutely fine. Donut. Okay, you're a lovely guy, Samantha. Thank you very much. I bet you're a lovely person yourself. I don't know what all these things are you're sending, guys. Like I say, I don't know what they are. I'm new to live. I do know that you can give gifts on here and you can turn them into money, and that's great, because what I was saying about 10 minutes ago about the homeless people, I'm like I say, I'm fortunate. I have a business, so I have a life out in Spain, so I have my own money to sustain my life. So any money that I make from TikTok, YouTube, or anything, that's going to go into a fund for this project that I've got with the homeless people. So I don't ever want anybody to come on here and say he's one of them people who's just doing lives for the sake of getting clicks and this, that, and the other, and making money. That isn't it. I think you probably all realise by now that I'm a genuine guy, and if I can help somebody with mental health, and hopefully in 10 years' time somebody can be in the position I am, where I've moved to another country and I've set up a business, a successful business that gives me a life, and I can sustain a lovely life with my wife and my son, and have these animals and have a nice home, then we can all do it, and it all started again from me saying 4 words: I need some help, and that's it. So I'd just like to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. I appreciate everybody tuning in and listening, and I appreciate the comments and everything. 9 new messages. Let's just see what they are. You and Lisa were incredible the other night about John George. Thank you very much. Yeah, I don't really know Lisa. I'd seen a couple of her videos and I'd commented, and then she sent some back, and she'd said that she sort of knew about me through the John George thing, and that she was really impressed at how I'd covered it. And then it just turned out that I wanted to go live about John George, but I was so nervous about doing a live, and it was a case of, well, why don't we do one together? And I said, if that's okay with you. So I did it, and it was actually, although the topic we were talking about was obviously a very tragic situation. A young man's lost his life, and a family have lost a son, and two little boys have lost a father. It was very enjoyable to do because it's led me to this now. So there was a means to the end of that. It's got me to now have the balls to come on here tonight and do a live of my own. And yeah, like I say, I did that live release the other night, and I won't say I won't do another live with her, actually. I mean, it depends on what the subject is. I mean, I think there's some more news going to be coming out about the John George situation in the next couple of days, and through my knowledge of the family and being close to the family, unless the information that I got was not true or genuine, then I wouldn't cover it. But if there's something that comes out of the next few days and that I felt was pertinent, then yeah, I probably would do another live. But yeah, thanks for that. It's nice that people can say nice things, because in a world where there's a lot of criticism and a lot of people can say nasty things on social media, I can genuinely say that I have genuinely only had a lot of good comments and a lot of praise and a lot of love from a lot of people. So I really appreciate that. For a guy like me who used to sort of struggle with praise, because I never used to think it was coming from a genuine place. I actually genuinely feel that a lot of people on here are being very, very genuine when they're making nice comments to me. So that's lovely, yeah. But that's good, yeah, definitely good, yeah. But if anyone did see that live the other day, if you haven't, it is on YouTube. I didn't upload it. Some other guy uploaded it and apologised to me for uploading it, said he was going to remove it and send me the link, but he hasn't done that. But I'm not really bothered. Like I say, I'm not bothered. It's on there, so if you want to go on there, it's quite long, but there was a lot of information to get on there, and we did discuss quite a lot, and it was quite a long night, actually. You have to do more lives. I really enjoyed it, and have a good day to you. Ola, thank you very much. Yeah, I am definitely doing more lives, so just all you've got to do is just keep having a look at my TikTok every couple of days, because what I'll do is I'll do a short video just saying when I'm going to go live and a time, and I'll always make that time. And again, I hope you all understand, with my mental health, if for any reason I was planning on doing a live and I was just having one of them days, I would then somehow just put a post on and just say, if the live was going to be cancelled that night, then I'd genuinely, but I think I can be honest with you guys now, I wouldn't come on with some waffle. I'd just probably tell you all I've got a call out to do down the road. No, I wouldn't, I'd be honest with you. But my plan is to do a couple of lives a week, and let's keep this community going. Let's try and build this community. I mean, I'm actually bowled over by the fact that I've had quite a lot of people tuned in tonight watching me, and I think a lot of you have been here from start to finish, which is absolutely wonderful. What was that there? Someone's put a big pair of glasses on me there. I'm new to all this. It's all baffling to me. I don't understand what's going on. There's donuts flying all over. There's sunglasses. There's cakes and all sorts. I don't know what it is, but I'm sure I'll get it later on. But what was I saying now? I've lost my train of thought there now. But yeah, I'll be honest with. It's nice to think that all you guys have been here from start to finish tonight. And if you've heard that the excuses I used to make years ago was to get out of an appointment or a situation I was planning on being, I used to use the old I've got a call out. So that'll be our clue word. If I put a post on, I'm just going to say, listen guys, can't make the live tonight, I've got a call out. Okay, listen guys, thank you very much. I'm going to go now because I need to go and have a pee, I need to go and have a coffee, and I'm getting old now, and in about an hour's time I'll be ready for bed. So it's been an absolute pleasure. I will be going live again. I'm not sure whether it's going to be Mondays or Tuesdays, but I will let you know. Like I say, I've got a busy weekend, I've got some stand-up to do. It's been an absolute pleasure, and thank you from the bottom of my heart, all of you, for tuning in and listening. Some of the comments and the interactions you've done have been absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I'm just going to read a couple of these comments before I go, just because I don't want you to think that I'm just waffling away, and I am trying to see them all. I am trying to. Kerry Davison, take care. Have a lovely weekend. Thank you very much. And you, LG, all the way over in Australia, you lucky bugger. It's nice in Spain, but I bet it's even bloody nicer there. I mean, it's about 3 degrees on a morning here. We're hitting about 18 to 20 on an afternoon, and that's all well and good, but I can guarantee wherever you are in Australia, I bet it's about 23 in the morning when you get up, isn't it? Hey? Nickname like the life. Stay blessed, guys. Great job tonight. Well done. Thank you, Lorraine. Brian, God bless. Give my regards to Billy. All I thank you. Take care. Stacey sent the sleigh. I don't know what a sleigh is, but I am going to try. I'm going to do some research tonight, find out what all these little things are. Stacey, whatever it is, thank you very much. Sweet cheeks. Thank you very much, Samantha. I missed it, but hopefully I'll catch up another time. Samantha, I will. If you just keep following my TikTok, like I say, I'll put a video out when I'm going to do my next live. I'll usually let you know the day before or a couple of days before. I'll always put a little video out just saying I'm going to be going live, and this is going to be my topic for the near future. It's going to be about mental health. And listen, even if some nights we just come on and we all just chat shit for a little bit, it doesn't matter. It's just a place. It's a community where we can all gather, and hopefully in time, Samantha and Sweet Cheeks and Brian will all follow each other, and we'll get this little community together where if anybody ever needs to speak and anybody ever has an issue, they can just message each other, or you can message me. But remember, before I go, thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure. And remember these 4 words: I need some help. Good night, everyone.